You guys like poetry? I think you like poetry. Here's a poem for you. I remember you asking, when was I going to come and visit? Such was the moment of realization, and it hurt so much to hear it. I imagined you warring with dementia, desperately trying to cling to your family, but hearing your voice had me wondering if I was still a memory. I could picture you in a photo with the signature hill head and ears, smiling into the lens with eyes that I believed knew no fear. Since you have been gone, things have been said, terrible things. Never did I know about the abuse your anger did often bring. So many thoughts and emotions are flowing through me right now. Never could I imagine hurting those I love. Still, I see no benefit in spending energy on the how. I can only remember you as my first example of a strong man, an adequate provider, fearless, and one who was respected without even trying. Lived into your 90s, still getting respect without a memory intact, and dying. Growing up, I have no memories of being hugged or told I was loved. I love you, grandfather, but the cycle must be broken with the guidance from above. Families in which we are born are a sign of weak wisdom in what has been decreed. So rights must be fulfilled and limits we must not exceed. I remember you stressing our left handedness is a special connection. Even now, I could still feel the pride I felt then from this reflection. After knowing so much, you revert to knowing nothing. I can't imagine experiencing a state where it is so difficult to be able to recall something or afflicted with a condition where neural pathways have been completely shut off. This is one state in which it means to be lost. Grandfather, I haven't forgotten you and know that I miss you, my left handed comrade. But may Allah bless me to always remember you as simply Granddad. So that was a poem from Imam Khalifa Marcellus Williams, who is scheduled for execution tomorrow if there is no last minute reprieve from either the governor or the Missouri Supreme Court. So arguments were heard today, starting at 9 o'clock in the Missouri Supreme Court, because that's a jurisdiction. Governor Parson, the governor of my state, he kind of looks like the mayor from How the Grinch Stole Christmas. He has no conscience. He has no conscience whatsoever. Petitions do not sway him. Calls do not sway him. Like, this is a man that doesn't give a fuck. He's a former redneck county sheriff. That's what this guy is. Like, that's how he rolls. So when we talk about, like, and people ask me, like, do I support the death penalty? Under this system, absolutely not. Like, there is no reason why America has the jurisdiction to execute black people and working people for shit that they didn't do. Like, it was a very, very common analysis that every black person that is incarcerated in the United States can be counted as a political prisoner because this political system, this dictatorship of the white supremacist bourgeoisie, does not serve us. It doesn't work for us. It doesn't help us. It has brought us nothing but misery and suffering. So, no, no black person in this country should be in prison. No black person in this country should be subject to execution. The only black person in this country that belongs in prison is P. Diddy and R. Kelly. Like, only two black men in this country really have done something to warrant. Oh yeah, and Barack Obama. But seriously though, like, this is not a laughing matter. Like, this is a person's life at stake. A person who, like, genuinely did not do the shit that he was accused of. So I've got the brief of Wesley Bell, the current St. Louis County prosecutor and next representative of the first Missouri congressional district in Congress, because APAC has a shitload of money and they really, really like Wesley Bell. Or I don't think it's a matter of them really, really liking Wesley Bell. It's a matter of them really, really disliking Cori Bush for her principled stance on Palestine. Anyways, Wesley Bell and Marcellus Williams defense attorneys filed this brief. So let's get some facts about this whole situation. Like, why is he innocent? Oh yeah, Chris Brown deserves to be in prison too. So, like, statement of facts. On August 1st, 1998, damn, I was 4 years old, Dr. Daniel Pikus found his wife, Felicia Gale, lying on the floor in the foyer of their house in University City, Missouri. It's an inner ring suburb of St. Louis. Like, it's literally right next to St. Louis City proper. She was stabbed 43 times with a kitchen knife that was left lodged in her neck. Police processed the house and collected numerous pieces of forensic evidence left by the perpetrator, including a bloody shoe print in the foyer, adjoining hallway, fingerprints on the second floor of the house, and hairs near Miss Gale's body. Police could not initially identify the suspects, so they advised Dr. Pikus and Miss Gale's family to offer a monetary reward, aka a bribe, to help generate information. As a result, the family offered a $10,000 reward. So the state's theory of the case that put Mr. Williams away, was based on people who just wanted the reward money. Incentivized witnesses. On June 4th, 1999, 10 months after Mr. Gale's murder, and after the family offered the reward money, Henry Cole, a convicted felon, approached police immediately after being released from the city jail, claiming to have information about the murder. Mr. Cole had a criminal history spanning 2 decades and pending charges against him at the time he came forward to the police. So he had 2 reasons. He thought that by providing information in a widely publicized murder case, he would get a bit of leniency for himself and his own legal troubles, and he would also get some money. So they literally paid this guy $5,000. As a matter of fact, he literally blackmailed these people, saying that if I'm not going to go to any deposition hearing unless I get part of this reward money. Like, he literally told the cops that he came forward with the express intent and purpose of getting paid. So Dr. Pikus paid Cole, at the instigation of the prosecutor, $5,000. So they bribed this man before the trial to testify against Mr. Williams. Police did not arrest Williams based on Cole's account, but instead used Cole for months as an informant to extract information from Laura Asaro, Williams' former girlfriend and a known sex worker. Asaro did not provide Cole with any information about the murder. Why did she not provide Cole with any information about the murder? Because she did not know anything about the murder, because Marcellus Williams did not kill anybody. Months later, in November 1999, police approached Asaro at her house. She believed that they were there because of an outstanding warrant for her arrest. Police told her that she was guilty of withholding evidence, which she did not have if she did not cooperate. It was only then that Asaro claimed that Williams had also confessed to her that he murdered Miss Gale, and she had supposedly seen proceeds of the robbery, including Miss Gale's purse, identification card, and a laptop computer stolen from Miss Gale's home. After Asaro's statement, police searched Williams' non-operational car, which was parked in front of his grandfather's home. William had not had access to the car for 15 months because he had been incarcerated in the city jail for an unrelated charge. They found a calculator and a St. Louis Post-Dispatch ruler in the glove compartment. They also found a medical dictionary in the trunk, but Dr. Pikus later confirmed that the dictionary did not belong to him. At least one witness at trial stated that Asaro had access to Williams' car during that time. So this sounds like they planted this shit. Then it goes on later to describe how Williams' grandfather's neighbor, who possessed Dr. Pikus' laptop that had been stolen during the murder, he testified at trial that he had received the laptop from Williams in exchange for either $150 or $250. Roberts would have testified that Williams told him the computer had belonged to Asaro, but the trial court sustained the state's hearsay objection. Police compared Williams to the forensic evidence collected from the crime scene. The bloody shoe prints found in the house did not match Williams' shoe size nor any of the first responder shoe sizes. Police further eliminated Williams, Dr. Pikus, and Miss Gale as the source of hairs found near the body. Williams' fingerprint did not match the print lifted from the medical dictionary found in the trunk of the Buick. Police also destroyed the fingerprint evidence lifted from the second floor of the house because they believed they were not suitable for comparison. This destruction was not disclosed to Williams' attorneys until after the fingerprints had been destroyed. At Williams' trial, the state's case rested on 2 people's testimony, both of which were witnesses that were incentivized, Cole and Asaro. So you've got this guy in prison in jail that for whatever reason Mr. Williams supposedly spilled his guts to. Like, anybody that's a criminal, anybody that has been in trouble with the law before knows that you do not talk to people in jail, because what's going to happen is this person, you don't know what type of shit they're facing. They're liable to run to the police and tell everything. Like, there's no honor amongst thieves is a common saying. So Marcellus Williams did not tell this guy shit because that's like violation of street code 101. You do not talk about things that you do or have done. So this is another sign that Mr. Williams did not do any of this shit that they're accusing him of, because if this guy was some hardened type of criminal like they keep saying that he is, he would not go and tell another person in jail. He didn't know shit about this guy. He literally just met him a few hours ago. But yeah, I'm going to tell you about a murder I committed. So his girlfriend made up stuff about him because they falsely threatened her with disruption in the investigation. They threatened her with withholding evidence, evidence that wasn't actually evidence. But yes, police do this shit all the time. Like, all they care about, all cops and prosecutors care about is clearing cases. They don't care if the person that they're locking up is innocent. They don't care if the person that they're about to give a fucking needle is innocent. All they care about, especially elected prosecutors, all they care about is going to voters in re-election season, going to these conservative white and black voters and saying, hey, look, I put a murderer away. You remember that whole shit that happened up in U City? Yeah, I put that guy away. I got him the death penalty. Like, America is a very, very exhibitionist country when it comes to people dying. Like, when they used to have lynchings, if you remember, they would go and like hold picnics. Like, you've literally got a guy being burned to death right in front of you. And here you are eating a fucking ham sandwich and drinking a nice cold lemonade. Yeah. America is a deeply psychologically fucked up country. For some reason, we just love seeing people dying. Maybe it comes from the English because they invented that whole drawing and quartering shit. So, I don't know. But America's a fucked up country. It likes seeing people swing. It likes hearing about people dying. Following the sentencing phase, the jury recommended Williams be sentenced to death, which the trial court imposed on August 27th, 2001, right before 9/11. So, new evidence was discovered on the eve of another hearing. On August 20th, 2024, one day before this originally scheduled hearing, the prosecuting attorney and attorney general received DNA reports from Bode Technology indicating the DNA on the knife handle was consistent with DNA profiles of Keith Larner, the assistant prosecuting attorney, the guy who basically got this guy the death penalty, who tried Williams' case, and Edward McGee, a former investigator for St. Louis County prosecuting attorney. Both Larner and McGee submitted affidavits admitting that they had handled the knife without gloves before trial. These DNA results confirmed that their handling of the knife without gloves contaminated the murder weapon. So you've got these dumbass, probably drunk prosecutors and cops that were playing with the alleged murder weapon without gloves. And like, what type of person is this Larner guy? He used allegedly used 3 of his 9 peremptory strikes to strike black jurors and 6 strikes to strike white jurors. The trial transcript demonstrates that Larner used 6 of his 9 peremptory strikes to strike black jurors and 3 strikes to strike white jurors. So what does this mean? They basically can kick people off the jury because for any stupid ass reason. This Larner racist kicked black people off the jury because they were black, because he did not want, ideally he would have an all white jury because he wanted to see this guy die. Larner admitted that part of the reason that he struck juror 64, a black juror, was because he looked very similar to the defendant, a black man, that he reminded him of the defendant, and he had the same piercing eyes as Williams. Larner testified that when he said he looked very similar to the defendant, he meant that they were both young black men. He testified that he thought that they looked like they were brothers. He testified that part of the reason he struck juror number 64 was because he was a young black man with glasses. So you're kicking people off the jury because he's uppity and he looks educated. And educated people aren't just going to believe the dumb shit that you're saying. So basically, there's no fucking reason for this guy to die tomorrow. The only reason, if Imam Khalifa Marcellus Williams Jr. is murdered tomorrow, it's just more blood on the hands of a very, very bloody state.
Today, the Missouri Supreme Court will
This is his son, by the way.
hear arguments on the latest appeal to get Marcellus Williams off of death row.
You know, one thing I love about black reporters is that like they're always fucking dressed. Like a white reporter cannot rock this shit. Only a black dude can.
Jury is set to execute him in just over 36 hours. Williams was convicted of killing St. Louis Post-Dispatch reporter Felicia Gale back in 1998. St. Louis County prosecutor Wesley Bell is asking the court to send the case back to court, claiming new evidence of innocence and alleged racial bias in jury selection. Williams is set to die by lethal injection tomorrow at 6 p.m.
This morning, we hear from Marcellus Williams Jr. I sat down with him to discuss the case, and this isn't the first time that his father has come close to his execution date. And Marcellus Jr. says he is ready for whatever the latest outcome will be. How does hope apply to where you are right now in life?
I hope a miracle happens. You know what I'm saying?
I like that shirt.
I hope it's all I wish is to free my father from abundant enslavement and spare his life.
What would you say to the Supreme Court if you had the opportunity to testify on behalf?
I like his son. Very, very well developed politics, and I see the kufi hat. So he's also a Muslim, just like his father.
With your dad,
I would try to make them see that this is a murder on their behalf, and this is wrong. You know, and I believe my father is truly innocent, and they need to take a closer look.
have you allowed yourself to even get to Tuesday right now?
Yeah, I already put it inside my body that I would be a witness to the execution. I'm standing firm and show my dad he's not alone if this was it comes to, and I'm ready for it. My mindset, my spirit, strong. Like I'm doing this for my dad. It's bigger than me. So for me to be there in that time, if it comes to that, it's like an honor. Where I'm gonna see him off. So if this is the way that he going out, we already made peace.
Has he said that to you, that he's made peace?
Multiple times. It's not even just making peace. It's like, this is the natural way of life. You're going to die.
Marcellus Jr. told me he is now working with at-risk kids in South City and using his father's story to deter kids from taking the wrong path in life.
Okay. So
a death row inmate is scheduled
we can watch this.
to be executed, and there are last-minute efforts to save Marcellus Williams. He has maintained his innocence for a 1998 murder in St. Louis County.
So we can get back to this in a minute, but this is interesting. So the victim's family, Ms. Gale's family, does not want this guy executed. Okay, and our previous governor, Eric Greitens, he was a shithead. He was basically made to resign after a sex scandal. South City. St. Louis is basically divided into North City, where a large chunk of black people live, at South City, which is Waterverse. Anyways, so they are determined to kill this guy. Like our previous governor literally had a board of inquiry because Greitens, even though he was a piece of shit, like I guess he didn't want innocent people's blood on his hands. I mean, I guess he already had enough to do with literally a Navy SEAL and a Republican, so he already had enough. But Greitens realized that, hey, there's serious doubts about this guy's guilt, and he convened a board of inquiry to investigate the case. Under Missouri law, the stay was to remain in place, the stay on his execution, until the board of inquiry concluded its review and issued a formal report. However, last June, while the Board of Inquiry's review remained ongoing, while these people were still doing their work to find out if they were about to literally execute an innocent man, this fucking Grinch-ass governor, Mike Parson, for no reason whatsoever, dissolved the Board of Inquiry without a report or recommendation from the board. Immediately after Governor Parson dissolved the Board of Inquiry, this other piece of shit, Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey, who, if you've heard his name before, it's because he is very, very aggro against trans people and abortion and any other sign of progress in this horrible state of misery. He immediately, after his fucking Grinch boss dissolved the Board of Inquiry for no reason whatsoever, again, this other Grinch, Andrew Bailey, sought a new execution date. Mr. Williams filed a civil suit against Governor Parson for dissolving this board that could have cleared him for no reason. it violated Missouri law and his constitutional rights. After a Cole County judge denied the governor's motion to dismiss this lawsuit, the governor persuaded the Missouri Supreme Court to intervene. On June 4th, 2024, a couple months ago, the Missouri Supreme Court dismissed Mr. Williams' civil lawsuit and immediately scheduled his lynching for September 24th. So that just shows like how much of a lynch state Missouri is. I was about to say Mississippi. Missouri is basically Mississippi, except we have, I guess, 2 bigger cities than they do. Like, this is atrocious. And this same Supreme Court that's hearing this argument today is the same Supreme Court that scheduled this man to be lynched less than 24 hours from now. Andrew Bailey also did try to execute a guy who was found not guilty until the court held him in contempt a few months ago. Let's go back to this.
For former Governor Eric Greitens paused his execution just hours before. Now, Williams inches closer to another scheduled death.
Like, I hope a miracle happens. You know what I'm saying?
Marcellus Williams Jr. prays for a different outcome for Dad.
I would want people to know he has a huge heart. You know what I'm saying? He's very caring.
And this is like, being on death row is literally a form of psychological torture. Like, your fate is literally in the hands of a Republican fascist governor who does not give a shit about you, an attorney general who does not give a shit about you or anybody else, and a bunch of assholes in black garbage bags who literally are the reason you're about to die in the first place. Like, can you imagine how much torture that is on you and your family? Like, oh, is Dad going to die tomorrow? Or are these white people going to develop a conscience? We don't know. Like, man, that's how people, like, you ask why black people have higher rates of disorders like diabetes or early heart attacks or stroke or nervous breakdowns. It's because of shit like this. White America, bourgeois white America, gets off on torturing us. The U.S. has no conscience, like Kwame Ture said. Like, it's only reasonable to deal with somebody that's at your same level. You cannot deal with somebody that is determined to kill using the language of faith or using the language of justice, because America, you cannot find any justice here. There is no justice for us here. That's why Malcolm said that we have to topple this shit by any means necessary. That's why the Palestinian people, they know this, like, they literally know that Israel does not give a fuck about them. What does Israel want? What does Israel want for the Palestinians? It wants them gone. It wants their land. It wants to set up a Monaco where Gaza used to be. That's what it wants. And then the liberals, the people, the same people that are calling for a ceasefire after hundreds of thousands of people are dead, which is tantamount to pouring water on the ashes of a burned down house. Then the liberals are going to do land acknowledgments before they go into the casino, or they're going to establish a plaque. Here once lived Palestinians. No, nobody should subject themselves to that. Nobody has to take that shit. That's why I side-eye everybody who tries to forbid the Palestinian people revolution. Like, how the fuck, like, has your people been subject to a genocide? Why do you think the Irish go so hard for the Palestinians? Because they've literally been through the same fucking shit. 900 years. 900 fucking years. Why do you think black radicals go so hard for Palestine? 500 years. Like, we are all connected. We're like this. He said the guards in Missouri would always accidentally call the wrong name for execution just to fuck with everyone. Yeah, to work in a place like that, you have to have no conscience. You have to have no soul. Like, I could not go to work every fucking day working with people who are about to be executed. I could not. Like, I'm a friendly guy. Like, I would form bonds with these people, and then now I got to take you out, strap you to a fucking gurney, and fill you with sodium pentothal and all sorts of other nasty shit. No. I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. See, I have a heart of gold under this fucking hard ass exterior.
His dad, Marcellus Khalifa Williams, faces execution on Tuesday for a 1998 murder in St. Louis County. Williams has maintained his innocence. Now, several appeals to Missouri and federal courts are filed to issue a stay, including claims of new evidence of racial bias.
We found out that jurors were stricken from the jury panel.
Missouri NAACP president backs his attorney's arguments. Trial prosecutors unconstitutionally removed Black prospective jurors because of their race. St. Louis University law professor Anders Walker weighs in.
The only hope here is a due process ruling from the federal court saying whether or not Mr. Williams is guilty, there was racial bias, and that'll derail the execution.
Missouri Governor Mike Parson could also grant clemency at least 24 hours prior.
Governor Parson would probably
That's a lot of faith, man. These people have no conscience. They don't care. This is not a funny joke. Like, these people do not care. But what can you do? Like, what piece can you do to have a clear conscience? Like, what can you do to help this guy? I mean, I'd say make revolution, but a revolution isn't going to be made in 24 hours. Otherwise, we would be able to go down there and throw open the fucking jail doors and save this guy. Like, it's powerlessness is the worst fucking feeling there is. Like, calling people who don't give a fuck, writing petitions to people who don't give a fuck. Like, it's like what Mao would call being a monk and tolling the bell. Like, you know that they want to kill this guy anyways. But it's our job as communists, it's our job as people of conscience to not just bear witness, but actually do everything that we can within reason and mobilize the masses so that we can take ever escalating steps to ensure that this system, which is killing innocent people, does not persist. So if you can, call Governor Parson and urge him to stop the execution before it's too late. His number is 417-373-3400. You can call, tweet, and email Governor Parson now. You can text Marcellus at 97016 to join the team. And of course, you can share his story on social media. So there's a press kit here, basically with things that you can do. If you're in St. Louis, then I highly recommend that there's a few trolls that I just banned, but if you are in St. Louis, I highly recommend that you come to this tomorrow. So there's 4 events. In Casimo, Kansas City, 5 p.m., corner of 39th and Troost. Bonne Terre, 5:30 p.m., 2727 Highway K. If for whatever reason you feel the need to live in fucking Bonne Terre. Jeff City, 5 places. Jeff City, 12 p.m., noon. Missouri State Capitol, 2nd floor government office. Petition drop, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Missouri State Capitol Rotunda, Missouri at madpmo.org for more info. Columbia, 5 p.m., Boone County Courthouse, 705 East Walnut Street. And St. Louis, 3 p.m., Carnahan Court Building, 1114 Market Street. And you can email mphillips@igc.org. So if you're in St. Louis or any of these other states, cities, highly recommend turning up, be in community with the people, bear witness. So, again, why do I say death to America? Why do I say fuck America? Why do I say like this shit has to fall? Like, I'm not just being rhetorical here. Okay, like this is not a joke to me. This is not a meme. This is not a persona. I earnestly want this fucking place to be kaput. Because like you can only go through so much of this shit. You can only go through so much of this shit before you turn into a nihilist. Honestly. Like, how much more are we going to take of this shit? So, in closing, free Khalifa. Oh, you know, when you do the communist salute, you use your left hand. If you use your right hand, you're a rightist. So you use your left hand. I know a lot of us are right-handed, but anyways, free Khalifa. Fuck America. Fuck Missouri.